Well, what's up, my friends? I think it's time that we have a conversation. It has been a minute since I did a video where I just kind of outlined the value and just sort of the overall goodness of converting a coupe to a fastback Mustang, but I feel like it's time to do that. And so what I want to do is I'm going to give you three of the main reasons why you want to convert a coupe, or your coupe in particular, if you already own a coupe Mustang, to a fastback. And I want to walk through those just pretty easily. First of all, let me say this. I read the comments and I listen to what some of these people say about the coupe to fastback conversion, and you've got a few different camps. Let me give you the camps that you're going to have to deal with when we talk about this, and you have to understand where they're coming from so that you know why they're giving you answers that they give you. You're going to get answers on the internet. Some people are not necessarily trying to help you. They're trying to promote their own sort of, angle on things. And that's really what the internet's about. That's what social media is about. It's about me telling you about my thing, and they're going to tell you about their thing. So first of all, you're going to have the classic Mustang purists that absolutely believe that a Mustang should be nothing but restored. It should have all numbers matching, should have all the energy and effort put into it to reproduce what old Henry Ford desired for us to have. And I don't have anything against those people. They're a little maniacal when it comes to the details about a Mustang. I'm more free-spirited than that, so I'm not going to be stuck in your Mustang has to look like my Mustang, and we're just going to put all this energy into tracking down that one piece of trim that goes around the wheel or something, and we're going to put this whole thing together and spend our life trying to collect all the parts, and finally we get it together for it to set in our garage because we're so horrified that if we were to take it out, someone might run into us, and then we would just die because we lost a vintage Mustang that they're a rarity, they're nearly extinct and all that. So that's got that group. That group hates this conversion. Here's what they think. They think by me making my coupe a fastback, it somehow cheapens or maybe even takes away from the value of their fastback. So therefore they're going to say, this is stupid, it's an abomination. People have connected it to gender. Okay, just for a second. Car, person. This car does not have a gender. Okay? So those are just silly things that people say. They just say it because they feel threatened by it. The other side of it is the people who really couldn't afford to have a car in this genre no matter what, coupe or otherwise, and they'll say things like, we just love coupes more, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with a coupe. I don't have a problem with a coupe. If you like a coupe, more power to you. I'm not going to run around to coupe posts and go, oh my gosh, that's the worst idea ever. You ought to be a fastback. I don't care. You don't care. I don't care. Who cares? So you're going to have that group of people giving you negative stuff. Then you're going to have the group of people who have never done it, but just the thought of it to them is overwhelming. And since they can't do it, they don't want you doing it. If I can't do it, no one should be able to do it. If I'm not able to do it, I don't have the skill, gift set, willingness to learn, whatever. I'm not going to do it. You're not allowed to do it. And they're going to give you answers. Then you're going to have the people who actually do these things, and like me, and just say, hey man, I'm not kidding, it's the way to go. It is the absolute way to go. So here's what I want to do this morning. While we're sipping our coffee early this morning, I want to walk you through the three top reasons why you want to convert your coupe to a fastback. I was going to do a video on why not to do it, but I couldn't think of a reason, so there's that. So let's start first of all with the reasons why we want to convert our coupe to a fastback. Number one reason, number three. I'll start with number three. We'll go backwards. Number three, you want something that you can drive, not something you just want to look at. So you want a car that you can drive. I'm building a 1968 Mustang because I love that body style. The other thing is I love the feeling of driving a classic Mustang. I'm going to make this car, I'm going to put the metal on it, I'm going to put it together, and I went a lot more extensive than what I'd recommend, and you guys have heard me talk about this before. My frame rails, I'm going to actually do a video maybe this week or the first of next week of progress that I've made. There's a lot more progress here than what you can see. I've spent a full day welding underneath the car, so there's things you can't see here that I've gotten done. But I'm getting close, y'all. I'm getting close to getting that body welded back on. Probably, I'm probably going to shoot paint on the inside of my body panels. You'll say, why are you painting the inside of them? Because my car is going to have a unique kind of interior where you can actually see the inside of the body panel. I'm going to be using some dimple dye stuff and some other things. I'm not going to tell you yet because it's going to be cool. Anyway, but why did I do that? Why am I not trying to build this thing out, or buy a classic, Mustang fastback? Because I want to drive it. I want to drive it around. If somebody runs into me, I'm not going to cry. I'll just get another body panel from Dynacorn and go from there. And if they total it out, then I'll just buy another coupe and I'll convert it with the insurance money I get out of this one. So I want to drive it. You want to drive a car? If you'll notice, the people have the really, 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 really nice numbers matching, or even the pro touring cars, the guys that take a classic fastback Mustang and they put, $300,000 worth of parts on it. They don't drive them. Every once in a while they'll drive them, but they don't drive. I'm going to drive mine. Drive it in the rain if I want to. I'm going to drive it. The second reason, well, let me say this. Let me give you the second reason that you want to convert your coupe to a fastback is listen to me, there is no scenario where your coupe is worth less as a fastback. And I hear that a lot. And I've seen these comments pop up a lot and they'll go, you're going to ruin the value of your car. You are crazy. Here's the thing, crazy, cockadoodle crazy. There is no scenario where your coupe is not worth more money as a converted fastback. And I can 100% guarantee that. Coupes are not the most sought after cars out there. They're great. If you like them, I got a buddy who likes Pintos. Nothing wrong with liking a Pinto. They're just not sought after. It's not as valuable. Let's face it, a regular Mustang's not as sought after as a Shelby Mustang. I mean, a 19 Shelby GT350 is worth about $1 million, right at $1 million bucks. No joke. That's what that car's worth. That's awesome. You have to understand that car is more sought after. A Shelby clone is more sought after than a non-Shelby clone. So that's just the truth. There's no scenario where your coupe is not worth more money as a fastback. Let me go one step further. If you convert your coupe to a fastback, even if you pay a shop, now I'm talking about a reasonable shop, to convert it. It would cost me 10 grand to convert this car and I could send it to a shop. 10 grand, they'll convert this car for me, okay? If I had my coupe, I paid $2,700 for my coupe. You guys know that I've already told you this story in the first video I talked about it. I paid $2,700 for the coupe. I got 3 cars, 2 parts cars, 1 good car. I sold all the parts. I more than made all of my money back. But let's just say I didn't make any money back. I paid $2,700 for that coupe. If I put that coupe on Marketplace tomorrow, that coupe for I got a roller coupe, $2,700. I put it on Marketplace. Could I have gotten more money for it? I don't think so. Maybe $3,000. Maybe I made $300 off of it. That's all that car would be worth. That's all that coupe, but that exact same coupe, this coupe, exact same coupe, send it to the garage. I shuck out $10,000. Here's your 10 grand. I give them 10 grand. So I've got $2,700 in the car. I got $10,000 for them to convert it. So that puts me at $13,000-ish. That car as a roller at that particular point is worth 20 grand, period. Sell them all the time for 20 grand. I'm telling you right now, and they'll sell in a day for 20 grand. So the car that was worth $3,000-ish, I have to put $10,000 worth of parts on it. You're right. You spent 10 grand. I did, but I increased the value. So the car's profit is $300 as a coupe. The car's profit as a fastback is about $7,000. It's a no-brainer, y'all. I don't even understand where this comes from. There's no scenario where your coupe is not worth more money as a converted fastback. That's just period. Bottom line, I don't care what anybody else says. And I'll tell you what's more, if you do the work yourself, you have even more money. You will never find a part or parts to put on your car that'll bring a return as will making it a fastback, okay? If you've got a coupe, let's say you got a coupe and you say, man, Scott, I'm going to put a 408 stroker Windsor motor in it, some unbelievable set of high-flow aluminum cylinder heads on it, and I'm going to spend $7,000 on the motor. Can I tell you something? Chances are you will not recoup the money for that $7,000 you put in. So anyway, sorry the camera cut out on me. So anyway, there is absolutely no scenario where your car, your coupe is going to be worth less. It will always be worth more. And again, I go back to whatever parts you put on your car, whether it's a stroker motor, you put Proline wheels on it and unbelievable set of tires and everything, most of those parts will not even pay for themselves when it comes time to sell that car. Remember this too. Let's say you spent, oh, I don't know, you've got the coolest tires you could find and you spent $500 a piece for them. And you got, I don't know, $1,500, $1,700 in tires. They wear out. This fastback conversion kit that I put on my coupe will never wear out. It's always going to be there. And as fastbacks increase in value, my car's going to increase in value. Okay? This car will increase in value. You don't see fastback Mustangs out rotting in the field very often. That's why when people see them, they post them. You don't see that very often. Why? Because these are more sought after. You see plenty of coupes out in different places rotting. Not knocking coupes, you coupe people. I'm glad you got a coupe. I own a coupe. I've owned a number of coupes. I don't have anything against coupes. I'm just giving you the economics of it. Now, so anyway, that's the reasons why I've deducted, if you will, that making a coupe to a fastback. I think I hit all three of them. I'm not sure. Now, let me go through some frequently asked questions, or should I say questions that have been posed to me at different times, and let me just go through those. Okay, it's not a real fastback, so therefore don't do it. Okay, so wait a second. So if my car was red, but I decide that I wanted it to be blue and I have a custom aftermarket paint job on it and it's blue, do I have to say, oh my gosh, this is not actually a red car, it's a blue car? Or if I change the wheels and tires, I go, these are not actually the factory wheels and tires, these are aftermarket tires. And let me ask you this question. Is your car worth more one way or the other? I'm going to say most of the time when you put something on your car that's cool, that adds to it, it adds to its value. So it's not an actual fastback. I don't try to pass this off as a fastback. When people say, hey, Scott, your car, that Mustang of yours, Scott, it's not a real fastback. That's what they'll say. You know, and it's not a lot of people, by the way, it's just a few. But when they say that, I say, you know, and anybody that knows anything, they'll say, they're going to look at that and know for sure that's not a factory fastback. You dang right they will know that. I hope they know that. I hope when they look at this asphalt peeling, foot stomping, awesome piece of beast, they're not going to mistake it for one that was made in a factory out of press metal. This thing's been custom made. Are you kidding me? I've sweat and bled over every weld, every cut, every body line. My body lines are better. My car is more rigid, it has a better frame. Henry Ford himself could only wish he had the frame rails that I've got in this car. Mustang couldn't do what I did. Ford couldn't do what I did. They couldn't because they couldn't put that much time into it. They'd had to sell the cars for $500,000 a piece. Yeah, of course it's not like a factory-built press metal Mustang. No, it's sure not. It's a custom-made one in the likeness of one that was made at a factory. But those are silly arguments. The bottom line is, do you want a Mustang? And here's probably the number one reason why you want to do this. Number one is, do you want a Mustang fastback and you can't afford it? And you've wanted one your whole life. You go, man, I've wanted a fastback my whole life. And you don't want, or let's just go a step further, you're not interested in spending, for a good runner, $40,000. Probably high 30s to 50, high 30,000s to $50,000 is what you're going to spend for a decent drivable fastback Mustang. And that's not a real sought after, car like an R-Code or something like. You're not going to get, a high performance, fastback for that kind of price. I'm just talking about a run of the mill fastback. You're going to spend that kind of money for a driver. And you don't want to do that. This is the way to go. I mean, it's crazy not to. It's insane. Here's the thing. Could I afford a fully done fastback Mustang? Probably not, but I might be able to stretch myself and make it like the one thing I have in life is this one car, and I'm that one person when you come to my house, I'm going to take you out and look at my car. It's the one thing I have. I don't want to be that guy, number one. But number two, I don't want to spend that kind of money. I'm not interested in that. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in spending every cent that I've got. Here's the other thing. I'm going to have a car that I can drive. No one is going to go, that's not real. They're going to say, wow, that's a cool car. That's sick. And I'm going to tell them, I built it. I didn't buy it. I built it. There's something powerful in that. And moreover, I'm going to have this car finished driving, motor, transmission, everything under $20,000. And I could do it for less than that. This car has costs in it that I wouldn't put in another car. Had I not run these frame rails, had I not, narrowed the rear end, had I not changed the gears in the rear end, had I not bought all the inner structure like I've taught you guys how to do in these other videos, if I had not done that and just welded onto the B-pillars and added it onto the frame rail for the windshield, I think I could probably shave off of my car right now like it sets. I would say I could shave off another $4,000, maybe more. So I could probably get this car finished. I think I could have a running, drivable car. Knowing what I know now and knowing what I've told you and taught you guys in these other videos, I think if you buy the right coupe and you know how to get the right parts, I think you could have a driver for under $15,000 fastback Mustang. It's not going to have a stroker motor in it. It's going to probably have a 289 or a 302 in it. Probably not going to have a 5-speed, manual gearbox out of a late model. Probably not going to have an 8.8 inch. It's going to have an 8-inch rear end. It's probably going to have some drum brakes on it. And I'm just going to pack wheel bearings and put it together, but I'm going to have a fastback and I'm going to drive it. And I can upgrade those things as I go. Here's one of the key things I want to put and leave you with this, because I want this video not to be too long. I want to leave you with this reality. What you can do to yourself if you're not careful is you can make your project so big that it becomes that garage feature, sort of that garage ornament. It sets in your garage and you start piling stuff on it and it becomes more and more ominous. And every time you look at it, you have guilt. You go, oh man, I spent all that money, but it's still not finished. Well, the reason why you spent that money is that you watch somebody else online and they bought that Heights, Mustang 2 front end, and you only had about $5,000, and you bought a $3,000 front end, and now you've got a front end and you've got a shell of a car and nothing else with it, when you could have just left the factory front end underneath it, bought some bushings and ball joints and called it a day. You had to have the slotted and drilled, disc brakes. You had to have all that stuff. And so you spent $2,000 on a set of Willwood brakes on it when you could have just ran the factory brakes and put some pads on it, maybe put some new calipers on it and turned the rotors, put some wheel bearing grease in it, and boom. You could be driving. You couldn't run that 289. It's only got, 250 horsepower. I don't like that. I got to have a fire breathing 408. Well, right now the 289 runs though. Put a little camshaft in it, put some exhaust on it, enjoy the car, drive it till it breaks. Upgrade those things. Get the car moving. If you can get in the car and you can drive around, you'll find yourself finding it easier for you to fix it up and add to it. A project like this sometimes would swamp somebody and they can't move forward. I'm at a point right now, I'm having to wait on parts to come in on this one, and there's some bigger parts I can't afford yet. So I'm having to do some things to get ready I can afford those parts. If I'd have bought a coupe that was maybe a little better condition, maybe a runner, what I should have done is just peel the body off, put that fastback body on, throw some primer on, let's drive it, man. Let's act like it's 1972. And I'm in a 68 fastback driving around. The Bullet car was beat up and scuffed up and scratched up. Do the same thing, drive it and enjoy it. So anyway, that's a pathway to get it on there. But there's some reasons why. That's some reasons why that we need to, that you ought to convert your coupe to a fastback. I hope next time to see you. Like and subscribe. I'm going to keep some videos coming. I'll keep answering questions. If you will ask questions, I'm going to answer them. I have lists available. Let me know if you need those lists. They're free. I do this for free. I don't do this for a living. I'm a pastor. I've already told you that. I share Jesus with people. That is my purpose, role in life. If I had nothing else, I would rather have Jesus. So that's me. So that's what you can know. But I like doing this. It's enjoyable. It gives me a break. That's where I'm at. But anyway, till next time, I pray God blesses you. I pray God blesses the build that you mess with. I pray He blesses your family. I pray you see clearly how much He cares about you and how much He loves you. And I just pray you enjoy life. It's a gift God's given us. So enjoy that. We'll see you next time.